Well, that's a bad question. the, um, uh, and what I really mean is uh, that I don't think there is a set of qualities for a CEO. I think, in fact, and maybe this is a quality that you should be yourself. And if you're, if you're trying to fit a particular model, and as a result not being yourself, I think that would get in your way. So for myself, I'm, like to, interact with a lot of the people, support what they're doing while not getting in the way too much myself. I think it's important for a CEO to be ready to jump in, but most of the time sit back. And you got a lot of good, talented people who can do a lot of good stuff, and you want them to do that. And if you're in the way of that, or have gates to make sure they pass to do the things, you're going to slow down what they would do otherwise. My leadership style is, number one, making sure that we have the right people in the organization. If we have the right people, my leadership isn't as needed as it would be as when we have had, and I've experienced both, I would say, but when we have people who don't work as well with others, and when people don't work as well with others, and what happens is that the whole organization feels that that's going on at the executive team level. So getting the executive team harmonized is really the number one objective, I think, in my leadership style, and I've learned that it's not something that I always did, and with that harmonization, it's also important that it's not completely agreement. We still have to have the hard conversations about what's the most important thing to be doing and why, and holding each other accountable, and we need to take it back to the organization in a united way to make sure that we're all together in terms of what we want to achieve. The most important thing for me is that you give everybody opportunities for growth. And most growth happens, it's not like, oh, we have to go to fancy seminars and so forth and so on. It's more, most growth happens on the job, taking on challenges you haven't necessarily taken on before, and figuring it out and working with others in the organization to do it. The environment needs to be something that gives people that ability. There's a heavy dose of trust within that to help them get to that point. I have one favorite policy for the company, and instead of pages and pages of policy, I like the simple policy of don't be stupid. And if someone violates that policy, what do? You say, hey, that was stupid, cut it out. And that's really all you need to do. Most people, they'll say, okay, and you go on from there. And that's better than having pages upon pages of you can and you can't and thou shalt and shan't and so forth, and then people end up parsing it out to figure out what they are allowed to do and not allowed to do. And in the end, what do we want people to do? Not be stupid. So the thing we've been focusing on is the characteristics of a team player, and we look at how people work with each other so that they can achieve things together. So the person who's not a good fit is the one who wants to do everything themselves rather than working with others to achieve the results that we're trying to achieve. And obviously you still have to be, good at your job and technically smart and so forth. That's in the end not as important as being able to work across the organization in a team player manner. How did I feel about being selected? Uh, so, so the first reaction to being selected was a total surprise. And actually, when the email came, it seemed to have assumed that I had gotten a prior email about it, and so I didn't, wasn't expecting it. I was obviously pleased that it was chosen, but I really think it reflects the organization more than it does me in particular. So I like the recognition that it gives to MCG and how it reflects on our culture. So MCG's business is one of providing the evidence-based guidelines to our customers, figuring out what is the best thing to do for the patient in every situation. And there are many places within the healthcare system where that's not happening. And we in effect live in as a company in a target-rich environment, that there are many things we can go after. So I'm seeing in the future, many opportunities to go beyond our current offerings to even more and greater offerings than we have right now. And at the same time, that the being in the target-rich environment is also a challenge, because with so many dedicated employees and so many requests to do things, we're always looking at how to balance what are the things that we really should focus on as a company. And so, I'm looking over the long term at growing, and also over the short term at managing that growth to figure out how to do it best.